Yes! Tips and tricks and all that jazz. Hey everyone, it's Vanessa V. Welcome to my channel where we discuss how to reign over your stress and anxiety, conquer what's holding you back, and live in victory every day using simplified strategies that work for you. Today, we are going to be addressing the importance of smushing your face like this. So hot. We are going to be covering something that we've probably all dealt with, especially during the current crisis. Tension. And tension where? The neck. Our stress and anxiety is up. Maybe we're on our phones a little too much. Maybe we're just looking straight on, watching TV for hours on end. That's definitely been me sometimes. Reading. Maybe you're an essential worker and so you're driving a lot or you're looking down a lot. By the way, if you are an essential worker, thank you from all of us. Thank you so much. I truly mean that. You've kept us going. You've kept us safe. Thank you. This is truly 4 simple steps that's really going to loosen you up, that you can use anytime, anywhere. At first it might not look like it, but we are going to go over that at the end, so stick around. Before we get to it, there's a siren going off, by the way, if you hear it. I do want to preface, I am not a healthcare professional, a mental health care professional. I am an actress. I'm a speaker. I host workshops for non-actors and actors on how to live your life and career sustainably in a way that works for you, focusing a lot on the brain and quick little simplified hacks that I've mastered. And for the purposes of this video and some future videos moving forward, I do want to say that I'm also a certified group fitness instructor. That again doesn't make me, a super expert in the body itself, like a doctor or whatever, but I am a little bit more familiar with how the body moves. And I am an instructor at a gym here in Maryland, Freedom Fitness. By the way, this video is not in any way affiliated with that gym. I'm just throwing out some love. Now, what I am an expert in is my own situation and what works for me. My hope is that these strategies that I have used and mastered for years, they've worked for a lot of other people, and hopefully they can work for you too. As you may know from my previous videos, you're probably familiar with the fact that I just started doing this YouTube channel. I'm still trying to figure out the right background. So today, as I try and figure stuff out, we are in my foyer. Welcome, friends. And we'll see how that goes. I got my gym clothes on because I just miss going to the gym, and I have my hair up. That way you can see what we're doing today. I'm a little self-conscious in this shirt because it tends to show like my armpit pudge. And yes, we should always be proud of ourselves, proud of our bodies, not self-conscious, but in reality, I am, and I'm working through that, and one of the ways I'm facing that is by wearing this top. All right, the hack. What is it? Now, without putting my stamp of stress hack or tension hack on it, this technique is, I believe, referred to as neck isometrics. Basically, that just means that you are contracting a muscle and holding it. Like holding a bicep curl, if you're familiar with that. The muscles stay contracted and the joints don't move. The lever, which is your arm, doesn't move. If you've taken workout classes before, you're probably familiar with this term, but either way, if you are or aren't and want to know more information, I've included links below. Now, isometric moves are actually one of my favorite things to do when I'm working out because, as we'll get to in a second, they actually help strengthen muscles. The way it was taught to me in the beginning and what I found for myself is that it also releases the tension I'm feeling in my neck muscles. I learned this technique years ago, and I really noticed that it gave me almost literally instant results. So I'm hoping that you'll find that also today, and we're gonna go through it together. So even though I'm calling this a tension hack, it's also a stress hack. And if you recall from my previous video about the brain, if you haven't watched it, it's okay, feel free to click the link below. But if you'll recall from that video, releasing tension actually helps release stress and anxiety because it's not triggering that stress response in our brain. So when we use tension hacks, it's actually a stress hack because we're decreasing that trigger response in our brain, therefore decreasing stress and anxiety. And what's also great about this really quick stress hack, aka tension hack, is that it also helps to strengthen the neck muscles. This can also help with just daily functioning, especially moving forward out of this crisis when things start to get a little bit back to normal-ish. When you're driving and you turn your head to look at the kids in the back seat or the dog, or you're just trying to see what's behind you, this can even help with rubbernecking. I personally don't do that, but if you do, this can help. Let's get to the hack. We are going to be doing gentle movements here, but either way, if you have a previous neck injury or you're not sure if this is something that you should be doing, whatever the reason, please reach out to your healthcare provider. This technique can be done whether you're sitting down or standing up. I personally haven't found it to make a real difference, which is actually great because this means that you can use it in a lot more situations. As long as our form, which we're going to go over really briefly, as long as that form is in proper alignment, you should be good to go. As we ease into this technique, what I'd like us to do is just move our head around very gently, just kind of taking in what tension level we're at right now with our neck. Are we feeling pretty loose? Is it feeling a little tight? That will give us something to compare how well this technique works for you when we're done with the technique. Again, as with all of my hacks and strategies and simplified tips, some of these may work for you better than others. Some may work for others Sometimes they might work for you better than other times. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, as we move into this hack, we are going to start off by just making sure that our spinal alignment is in its best form. Either sitting or standing, we are going to focus on our shoulders. Now, first, I'd like us to roll our shoulders forward and crunch forward just a little bit. Again, I'm gonna talk like this. Again, if there's I'm gonna get out of that. Okay, sorry. Quick side note, if there are any movements that I guide us through that are uncomfortable for you or you don't feel like doing them, that's okay. Just remembering it's best always to have the best formation and posture as possible. But again, if there's any pinching or real discomfort, don't do that part of the move or the move at all. So again, what I want us to do is take our shoulders up to our ears, so roll them up to our ears and gently roll them forward. It's causing my spine to sort of curve forward in a C curve formation. I'm crunching here a little bit. I don't feel very pretty, and that's okay. Now, the reason that I want us to do this is just to get an idea of what we don't want. Now, this is an extreme movement that I'm having us do. It's also stretching out our back muscles, which I think feels kind of good. But this is really an exaggerated version of kind of how we live every single day if we're not focused on our posture. And then what I want us to do is inhale and exhale. So inhale. And as we exhale, we are going to bring our shoulders up to our ears again, straightening our spine, rolling our shoulders back and down, and keeping them in that spot. So our shoulder blades should be squeezing a little bit together. So our chest is popped forward just a little bit. We're feeling tall, even if we're sitting. We're feeling proud and perhaps a little statuesque. So doing this is going to help our spine get into a better alignment, and we're ready to go. So step 1 out of the 4, we are going to take our right hand and gently just touch it to our cheek. Now we're not applying any pressure right now, we're just touching our cheek. We're going to inhale all the way to the bottom of our ribs, really filling that lung space. And as we exhale, let's begin to apply pressure from our hand to our cheek and gently turn our head towards our hand, ever so slightly. Now we are keeping our hand where it is. We're not moving our hand with our head. And we're gonna hold this position for about 10 seconds. Breathe as you need. And go ahead and gently release pressure from the hand and return your head center straight on. Next, we will do the other side. So going slowly, we will place our left hand on our cheek We will inhale all the way down to the bottom of the rib. Go ahead and do that. And as we exhale, gently applying pressure from our hand to our cheek, turning our head ever so slightly towards our hand, applying pressure to the hand. Breathing as you need. And gently releasing that hand, returning our head to center and lowering that hand down to our side. Fabulous. The third step out of the 4 is we are going to gently place our right hand on the base of our skull and place our left hand over that right hand. Again, we're going to inhale all the way to the bottom of our ribs. And as we exhale, slowly applying pressure to the base of that skull, tilting our chin up just a little bit to apply pressure to our hands as we exhale. Now it helps me here to also look up. And gently releasing that pressure, returning your head center and placing your hands down at your side. Last step, step 4, we are going to gently, once again, place our left hand on our forehead, like so, and gently place our right hand on top of our left hand. We're going to inhale one more time all the way down to the bottom of the ribs, and as we exhale, begin applying pressure to our forehead with our hands and tilting our chin downwards, applying pressure onto our hands. Now, again, this is a very gentle, small movement. Breathing as you go. We don't want to hold our breath because that can trigger a stress and anxiety response in our brain. And we'll gently release that pressure, returning head center and placing our hands at our sides. Awesome job, great. So now let's see how it feels. So go ahead and very slowly just start to move your head around and feel how loosey-goosey those muscles probably feel. Looking down, looking up. So how did that feel? Do you feel like dancing? Because that's how I feel right now. Just for a second while we're here in this white abyss. I'm not sure if I said this before, so I'm going to say it right now while we're cut to here. If after this exercise you feel like you just didn't get enough muscle tension relief for you, you can add more pressure. I'm starting us off very, very lightly and gently, just so that we all start off on a really good baseline and we're not pushing ourselves too much. But again, this hack is customizable to you. So if you feel like you can add a little bit more pressure, feel free to try it. Just try and be gentle as you go and make sure that it's something that truly works for you. Some modifications, if it's not comfortable for you to put both of your hands behind your head or on your forehead, it's okay to do it with just one hand. So now let's get into applying this in public, because as you know, if you've seen my other videos, you know that I'm huge about using simplified techniques that you can use anywhere, anytime. Now you may be thinking, Vanessa, I cannot do this in public, because obviously we are not going to want to do this when we are at dinner, a romantic dinner with wine and beautiful roses and clinking glasses. I don't know why I mentioned that. Whatever. So how can we customize it in a way that works for us? So if you don't want to get up and go into the bathroom to do it, say we are standing at the mall waiting for food, or we're in the movie theater getting back to the movies, here's a couple things. You can easily just put your arm here, put your elbow here, and just push a little bit here. And turn ever so slightly. And gently release. Now you can do this with a finger too. And gently release. And for the forehead, you can easily just do this and just push. Inhaling and exhaling. And gently releasing. And then you can swap sides. Do it here, do it here. Now for the back, it's a little more difficult. You're probably gonna draw a little extra attention if you're trying to do this in a way that doesn't draw attention, which I assume that's all of us. But you could do a pose like this, right? So, oh, I'm so cool, I'm just standing here. And put your hand here. And put your hand here and just push. Now, I feel kind of like a 20s bathing suit model when I do that, so maybe don't do that. I've actually never tried to do the back in public. Now, I suppose you could reach around back and just pretend you're stretching. Make sure to make that noise. That way people know that you're not doing something weird. I don't know. Let me see. Okay, I figured it out. So what you're gonna wanna do is, again, keeping your shoulders open and down, we'll place our hand at the base of our head and we'll gently look back or look up. So we're pushing a little bit on our hands. If you feel like you need to, you can turn your head a little bit if it's easier for you. That's not gonna be the best form, but if it's easier for you and you're doing it super, super gently and you're listening to your body and your body's like, cool, then feel free to try it. We'll return to center as best we can and we'll gently release. So that's the best way that I just found to do that without drawing too much attention to you in public. Now, I would recommend doing these modifications in a much more gentler way. We're not going to be in that alignment that's going to give us the best result. Holding these movements for at least 10 seconds tends to give me the most benefit, and that's what I've also seen from other sources. But feel free to hold it less than 10 seconds, more than 10 seconds, just see what works for you. One of the things that I love about this move is that this is helping to relieve tension in so many muscles in our neck without us having to like pull or yank. Not that you should ever do that, but we're not having to sort of stretch like that. Now, I'm not saying that that's bad. I teach that myself in my classes, not the yanking and pulling, but how to gently do that. However, if that's not comfortable for you, or you're just looking for another option that releases tension in a different way, this can be an awesome option for you. And that's that. Thank you so much for joining in today. I really hope that this technique was something that you found helpful. Feel free to comment below to let me know if you found this technique helpful. Subscribe to my channel if you don't want to go looking for my videos. Hit the bell, follow me on social media, links are below, and share these videos with whoever you think they might help as well. Remember, today is going to be an amazing day for you. The best is yet to be, and I'll see you next time.